If a single insult can ruin your day, if one bad moment can steal your peace, then listen carefully because you are not free. Most people believe freedom is power, money, or status. Marcus Aurelius had all of it. He ruled the greatest empire on earth, and yet he discovered a brutal truth most people never face. You can command armies and still be a slave to anger. You can own the world and still be destroyed by a single opinion. Marcus Aurelius didn't lose battles to enemies. He fought something far more dangerous, his own reactions. Through war, betrayal, disease, and loss, he learned this the hard way. Nothing outside you deserves control over your mind. Not words, not chaos, not pain, not fear. This is not motivation. This is mental armor. And once you understand it, the world will never shake you the same way again. Chapter 1. Pain is not your enemy. Pain has a reputation. Most people run from it. They numb it. They complain about it. But Marcus Aurelius saw pain differently. If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Pain is not here to destroy you. It is here to shape you. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome during war, famine, and plague. Historians estimate the Antonine Plague killed over 5 million people. His own children died. His body was weak, sickly, in constant pain. And yet he wrote this reminder to himself, not to the world. The body suffers. The mind decides whether to break. Say it with me slowly. Pain is information, not a verdict. Modern psychology confirms this. Studies show that people who reframe pain as temporary and meaningful experience up to 30% less emotional distress under stress. Stoics trained this skill 2,000 years ago. Pain asks a question: will you panic or will you stay present? You don't grow by avoiding pain. You grow by standing calmly inside it. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. This is what Stoics called endurance with dignity. Practical exercise. The next time something hurts, rejection, failure, discomfort, do this. Name the pain without emotion. Ask, is this survivable? If yes, endure without complaint for 60 seconds. Most people collapse before they test themselves. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Pain is not blocking your path. It is the path. And if you can remain calm in pain, you are already becoming unshakable. But pain is only the first test. The next one is harder control. And most people don't realize how little they truly have. Chapter 2. You control less than you think. You wake up with a plan. And before the day even begins, life interrupts it. A message you didn't expect. A delay you didn't choose. A problem you didn't cause. Most people react instantly. Tension rises. Anger appears. Peace disappears. Marcus Aurelius would have recognized this moment immediately. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This sentence is simple, but it is devastatingly difficult to live by. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire at its height, more than 60 million people, endless territories, constant war. If anyone should have felt in control, it was him. And yet his private writings tell a different story. Again and again he reminded himself of the same uncomfortable truth: even emperors control very little. Weather does not obey you. Other people do not obey you. The past will never obey you. Say it with me calmly and without resistance: I do not control events. I control my response. This is not weakness. This is clarity. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, was born a slave. He owned nothing. He had no political power, no wealth, no status. And yet he said something that still unsettles people today. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by ignoring things that lie beyond our control. Think about that. A slave teaching emperors what freedom really is. Modern psychology confirms this ancient insight. Research on locus of control shows that people who focus on what they can control are up to twice as resilient under stress, recover faster from failure, and experience lower levels of anxiety and depression. Meanwhile, people who obsess over controlling outcomes they cannot influence suffer more frustration, more anger, and more burnout. Pause here. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold. Exhale slowly for 6. Most of human suffering is not caused by events. It is caused by resistance to reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The event is neutral. The meaning you assign to it creates the emotional storm. Two people lose the same job. One collapses into bitterness. The other adapts, learns, and rebuilds. The difference is not luck. It is response. Say it with me again. Response is power." Marcus Aurelius trained this skill deliberately. Every morning he practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. He told himself, "Today I shall meet interference, ingratitude, arrogance, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." Not because he was pessimistic, but because he refused to be surprised by reality. What you expect cannot shock you. What you accept cannot control you. Here is where most people fail. They believe acceptance means giving up. Stoics knew better. Acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance is strategic clarity. It allows you to conserve energy for what actually matters. Practical Stoic exercise for the next 24 hours. Apply this rule relentlessly. When something happens, ask yourself one question only. Is this within my control? If the answer is yes, act calmly and decisively. If the answer is no, release it immediately. No complaining, no mental replay, no silent resentment. Most people never try this seriously, and because of that, they live exhausted. When you stop demanding control over what was never yours, something extraordinary happens. Your mind becomes lighter. Your reactions slow down. Your sense of freedom expands. Freedom does not mean life becomes easier. It means life stops owning you. But Marcus Aurelius warned of a deeper trap. Even when people learn to accept events, many remain enslaved, not by circumstances, not by chaos, but by the opinions of others. And that is where the next battle begins. Chapter 3. Opinions are invisible chains. One comment, one look, one opinion. That's all it takes to break most people's confidence. Marcus Aurelius saw this weakness everywhere, even among powerful men. That is why he reminded himself again and again, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. This is not denial. This is mastery. Most people live as prisoners, not behind bars, but inside the opinions of others. A stranger's comment online can ruin their mood for hours. A colleague's criticism can follow them home. A single sentence can echo in the mind all night long. Pause for a moment. Say it with me slowly and clearly. Opinions only have power when I agree with them. Marcus Aurelius understood something modern neuroscience now confirms. The human brain is wired for social survival. Studies show that negative feedback activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. That is why rejection feels real sharp and personal. But Stoics refuse to confuse feeling with truth. Epictetus said it plainly, if someone speaks badly of you, do not defend yourself. Simply remember that they do not know your other faults, or they would have mentioned those as well. That is freedom. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to see insults for what they truly are. An insult is just sound. Criticism is only breath. An opinion is nothing more than interpretation. None of them touch your character unless you invite them inside. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold. Exhale slowly for 6. Most people never realize this. They outsource their self-worth. They let likes decide their value, comments, decide their confidence and approval, decide their direction. In the modern world, the average person is exposed to more than 6,000 opinions every single day through social media, news, and advertising. That is not information. That is psychological pressure. Marcus Aurelius lived without screens, yet he warned himself daily, I do not need others to approve of what I know is right. He wrote this while ruling Rome, surrounded by gossip, judgment, and betrayal. The Stoics made a critical distinction that most people miss. You can control your character, but you cannot control your reputation. Seneca said it best, care about your character, not your reputation. Your character is who you are. Your reputation is who others think you are. Say it with me now, character is real, reputation is noise. There is a story from ancient Rome of a general who was publicly mocked after a defeat. Crowds laughed, rumors spread. Marcus Aurelius did not punish the crowd, and he did not rush to defend the general. Instead, he asked one question, did he act with honor? That is the Stoic filter. Not what do they think, but did I act according to my values? This single question dissolves shame. Modern psychology supports it. People who base their self-worth on internal values show lower social anxiety, higher emotional stability, and stronger long-term confidence. Now here is a practical exercise. For the next 48 hours, practice the Stoic Shield. When you feel judged, pause. Name it silently, this is their perception. Then ask yourself, does this change my character? If the answer is no, release it immediately. No arguing, no defending, no replaying the moment in your mind. Say it with me one more time, I do not attend every argument I'm invited to. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Silence is strength. Calm is dominance. But here is the uncomfortable truth. If opinions still control you, it is not because you lack knowledge. It is because discipline is missing. Without discipline, the mind becomes open territory. And that is why the Stoics believe discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. And that is exactly where the next chapter begins. Chapter 4, Discipline is Self-Respect. When opinions no longer control you, something becomes very clear. Freedom does not come from ignoring the world, it comes from governing yourself. This is where most people fail. They want confidence without effort, calm without structure, strength without sacrifice. Marcus Aurelius had no patience for that illusion. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Stoicism is not softness. It is quiet strength. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It is the daily decision to act according to your values, even when no one is watching, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it would be easier to quit. Marcus Aurelius understood that without discipline, the mind becomes chaotic, reactive, and fragile. With discipline, the mind becomes ordered, calm, and unshakable. Pause for a moment. Take a breath in for 4 seconds. Hold it. Now exhale slowly for 6. Say this with me, discipline is how I prove respect for myself. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he woke up early, lived simply, and denied himself excess. Not because he hated comfort, but because he refused to be ruled by it. He warned himself, "You are no longer a slave, but a free man, yet you do not know how to live like one." Discipline to the Stoics was the difference between reacting to life and directing it. Modern science supports this ancient wisdom. Studies show that people who follow consistent routines and practice self-discipline experience up to 40% better emotional regulation and significantly lower stress levels. Discipline reduces anxiety not by controlling life, but by stabilizing the self. When your habits are strong, your emotions follow. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it means forced rigidity or suffering. The Stoics saw it differently. Discipline is alignment. It is choosing long-term clarity over short-term comfort, waking up tired and still acting, feeling fear and still moving forward, wanting ease and choosing effort instead. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being, not as a victim, not as a complainer, but as a person doing what must be done." This mindset builds internal authority. You begin to trust yourself because your actions match your words. Say it with me now, slowly, I do what I say I will do. Here is a practical Stoic exercise. For the next 7 days, choose one small discipline and keep it no matter what. Wake up at the same time. Train for 10 minutes. Write 1 page. No negotiation, no excuses. When the mind resists, observe it calmly and act anyway. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your self-respect. Each time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken it. There is a reason disciplined people are harder to manipulate. They are not controlled by impulses, emotions, or approval. They do not need external validation because they have internal order. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Courage in Stoicism is not loud. It is consistent. But here is the deeper truth Marcus Aurelius understood. Discipline is not about becoming rigid. It is about becoming reliable. Reliable to yourself. Reliable under pressure. Reliable when life becomes unpredictable. Because when chaos arrives, habits decide who you become. Pause again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Remember this, without discipline, freedom collapses under stress. With discipline, freedom expands. Marcus Aurelius did not practice discipline to impress others. He practiced it because life is unstable. War comes, illness comes, loss comes. Discipline prepares you before those moments arrive. It creates a calm center that does not depend on circumstances. And yet even discipline has a limit, because no matter how strong you become, there is one reality you cannot train away. One truth that humbles all power, all ambition, all control. Death. Marcus Aurelius never forgot it, and neither should you, because remembering death does not weaken discipline. It gives it meaning, and that is where the final chapter begins. Chapter 5, Remember You Will Die. There is one truth Marcus Aurelius never allowed himself to forget. Not power, not success, not victory, death. He wrote it plainly, without fear, without drama. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This was not meant to scare him. It was meant to wake him up. Most people live as if they have unlimited time. They postpone courage. They delay discipline. They tolerate lives they secretly dislike. The Stoics saw this as the greatest illusion of all. Not that life is hard, but that it is long. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself again and again, you are temporary. Everything you fear losing will be lost anyway. So why live small? Pause here. Take a slow breath in. Hold it. Now exhale fully. Say this quietly with me, I am alive now. Stoics did not fear death. They used it. They called this practice memento mori, remember that you will die. Not as a threat, but as clarity. Death sharpens focus. It cuts through nonsense. It removes excuses. When you truly understand that your time is limited, drama loses power, fear loses its grip, meaning becomes unavoidable. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome during war and plague. The Antonine Plague alone killed millions. Death was not an abstract idea for him. It walked beside him every day. And instead of becoming bitter, he became precise. He asked himself, if this were my last day, would this matter? Would this worry deserve my energy? Would this delay be justified? Modern research supports this ancient insight. Studies on mortality awareness show that people who regularly reflect on death tend to prioritize meaningful goals, strengthen relationships, and waste less time on trivial conflict. When death is acknowledged, life becomes intentional. Say it with me, death clarifies life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. This was not pessimism. It was discipline applied to time. He understood that every day is a unit of life spent forever. You never get it back. That is why Stoics treated time as sacred. Not rushed, not anxious, but respected. Here is a practical Stoic exercise. Tonight before sleeping, ask yourself 3 questions. First, if today were my last day, what did I waste time worrying about? Second, what did I avoid that mattered? Third, what would I do differently tomorrow if time were truly scarce? Do not judge your answers. Observe them. This exercise alone can change how you wake up. Breathe again, in for 4, out for 6. Most people are not afraid of death. They are afraid of not having lived. Marcus Aurelius understood that regret is heavier than mortality. That is why he urged himself to live according to nature, according to reason, according to virtue. Not perfectly, but honestly. He wrote, it is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. This is the final Stoic challenge. Are you living deliberately, or are you drifting? Are your days aligned with your values or filled with distraction and avoidance? Remember this. One day your name will be spoken for the last time. Your possessions will change hands. Your status will disappear. Opinions will vanish. Only one thing will remain. How you lived. How you treated others. Whether you governed yourself. This realization does not weaken you. It makes you unshakable. Because when you accept death, you stop being controlled by fear. You stop clinging. You stop hesitating. You act. Say it with me one last time, I choose to live fully now. Marcus Aurelius did not write meditations to be remembered. He wrote them to survive, to stay calm under pressure, to act with dignity in chaos, to remember what matters when everything else collapses. Pain did not break him. Control did not deceive him. Opinions did not enslave him. Discipline did not exhaust him. And death did not frighten him. This is the Stoic path. Not to escape life, but to face it completely. Calm, clear, unshakable. And now the question is yours. Knowing that time is limited, knowing that the mind is yours to govern, knowing that nothing outside you deserves control over you, how will you live? Remember, calm is power, discipline is freedom, and you are far stronger than you think. If this message strengthened, you don't let it end here. Like this video, not for the algorithm, but as a signal to yourself that you choose clarity over chaos. Share it with someone who is struggling, someone who feels shaken by life, someone who needs mental armor. And if you want to continue walking this path, subscribe to Making Life Better. This channel exists to help you build calm, discipline, and strength, one thought, one habit, one Stoic principle at a time. Before you leave a mark. Go to the comments and type one word. Just one. Type the word unshakable. Not for me, for yourself. Every time you see that word again, remember this moment. Remember who you are choosing to become. Stand firm, live deliberately, and remember you are far stronger than you think.